This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com. That's right. Avengers Assemble. That's right. Capes and Lunatics, episode 102. We've been promising this for weeks. It's our big Avengers Endgame review. I am Phil, and what's left of the team joining me. I had such a line for Charlie. Oh, when Charlie Esser gets here, I have a line. But anyway. This is going to be a spoiler-filled podcast, so if you have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, drop out now and come back after you've seen the movie.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing here to begin with, unless you're one of those masochistic people that just likes to ruin the movie before you go see it. I don't know.
I have it big and capitalized in the title, so cannot say you not.
I don't ever understand reading or listening to.
All right, so anyway. Like I said, I am Phil. Joining me is, let's go from left to right on my screen. I don't know what he's doing here. He's a big DC fan, but Mr. Tyler Patrick.
Hey, Phil.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Really excited to talk Endgame. Had a couple, days to process it. Also really excited because of this movie. I now feel confident in cosplaying as Thor. I feel like I can actually. I told my wife the other night. I was like, "Didn't know I had the body of a Norse goddess, did you?" Walking around the house. So
Thor, Lord of Calories.
So I'm pretty pumped about that. Might just gave away my favorite part of the movie, coming out. So
that's all right. And
somebody wants to say hi, Phil.
And Tyler's son Solo. What's up, Solo?
You say hi.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Solo.
He says hi, buddy. You guys play.
All right. And next, our Black Widow, not because she looks like Scarlett Johansson, but because she mates and then she kills her prey. Miss Lilith Hellfire.
That was our secret, Philip. Thanks for outing me. Now the police are going to be looking for me. What's up, guys?
It's Florida. They got a lot more threats than you to deal with, don't
they? They can't pin it on you. Okay, that's what they. There's no evidence.
No proof.
Exactly. All speculation.
And we're still waiting on Charlie Esser, but we have his partner in crime. That's right. Or everyone's skinny rich friend.
Right, apparently. It's Maz. How you guys doing?
Good. All right. So
when did you guys see the movie?
I just saw it last night.
Oh, right on. I saw it Thursday night. I was not taking any chances on being silly and going online and seeing a spoiler or two. I was not taking any chances. Went and saw it, got out of the movie theater at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think it's the happiest I've ever been at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I saw it. We went at 6:30 Thursday night.
Nice.
We were right there, had our seats, so it was nice. I love assigned seating. So
it's the best.
So we got there. My wife met me there. Got her, we got in just in time, and had a good time watching it. And it was kind of neat because we were sitting there, and we realized I met her the year that Iron Man came out.
Oh wow!
So I did not get to see Iron Man or Incredible Hulk with her. We watched them, of course, when they came out because I met her. They hit home video, but. Ever since then, we've seen every movie together.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's like me and my wife moved in together a couple weeks after the first Iron Man came out. Now it's coming up on our 9-year anniversary. Got a 6-year-old. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite meme. It's not like spoilers. I think I sent it to you, Phil. It's a guy sitting watching Iron Man, and then it's shows Endgame. It's a guy with his wife and with his kid watching Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, man, that just spoke a lot to me. But
22 movies. So where's Charlie Esser so we can get on with this?
Charlie Esser is fighting the good fight, okay? He is battling Thanos. So let's not.
Oh, he's battling to get that beer can open. I know what he's doing.
Yeah, Lent is over and done with.
I didn't say what Thanos was. I just said he's battling Thanos.
Oh yeah, the last time we podcasted him was he's like, "Oh, Lent is over." I'm like, "Oh, the great drought is over."
Right.
All right, so Lilith Hellfire, when did you see the movie?
I just want to give a shout out to China. Y'all my favorite people. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm sorry for all of you suckers.
She went there. Okay.
Wow.
But then I did go see it in the movies Friday night.
Army.
I forced somebody to go take me on Friday night. I was not spending my money on it. Sorry.
We don't need to hear that. What about the movie, Lilith Hellfire?
Funny fellow.
Man.
It was all right.
See, you call out the MCU when you feel the need, and you're not like a super fan, but you thought it was you thought it was decent, huh?
Yeah, but I'm still more hyped for Far From Home. Just saying.
Oh yeah, you're a Spider-Man fan.
They got. Well, I can't. Charlie, where are you? I need to get this unpopular opinion out of my mouth.
Hey, I just want to throw out this, Lilith, right now. While we're recording this, Solomon just brought me his Spider-Man costume. Oh, I take that back. Solomon brought me his Spider-Man, and Sayla has her Spider-Man, and we're watching Spider-Man Homecoming. So just want to throw that out there.
I mean, red and blue is red and blue. Unless you're Captain America, then you can still suck it.
Oh, jeez.
I guess so. While we wait for Charlie to get here, we'll get the popular opinion out of the way. I was absolutely blown away. I absolutely loved this movie.
Yes.
It felt like 3 separate little movies, each one that I totally enjoyed, and it kept upping the ante. And by the time they got to that giant battle scene, I'm so used to being let down by movies where they're going to introduce something, and I said to myself, obviously there's going to be some weird Deus Ex Machina, and we're not going to actually get to see what they're teasing here with this battle. But no, man, they went in, and they went hard. They gave us everything we wanted. I mean, I just got done seeing Age of Ultron, a movie that I thought I hated before a third watching, and I was like, I don't know what I was mad at. This movie's amazing. And the opening battle scene where they line them up into this picturesque little scene where everybody's like, and Hulk is tearing people apart. It was that, but on steroids. And like, I walked into the movie theater, and assigned seating is wonderful, but then this row of young hooligans sat down behind me, and they were so loud, and I prepared myself. I was like, okay, this is what it's going to be. But as soon as the movie started, not a peep out of them, not a peep, until where it demanded. And when Captain America grabs that hammer, I mean, that place just absolutely erupted. It was unbelievable. And people will say, all sorts of things about how, if Thanos is fighting Captain America, who's just a human, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like, the situation demanded more. And to me, I whispered to my brother who was sitting next to me watching the movie, I said, dude, this feels like WrestleMania. Every time you're about to pin the dude, and 1, 2, and his shoulder comes up, and you got to do your same finishing move 3 times for the guy to actually go down, and maybe you got to do the other guy's finishing move.
Oh yeah, they called out so many different moments from the movies. They even called out like comic book stuff, like Hulk holding up the thing. I mean, that's like from Secret Wars back in the 80s.
I do want to throw out here real quick. You said you'd rewatched Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So what I did was, instead of rewatching all 22 films, I watched all the Avengers movies.
Mm-hmm.
It is very weird to watch Avengers.
Oh, look who's joining us!
2, and then Infinity War without the films in between. Very interesting. Very interesting. But you said what?
Sorry about all that, guys.
Maz, the thing about Age of Ultron, like, that gets me was, I think you have the forced infinity scene with Thor. And then you have the over-convolution creation of Ultron and Vision. Like, they try to, like, super science explain that to where you're just like, what?
Yeah, I mean, the problem I had with it initially was that Ultron didn't seem all that formidable, and his robots didn't seem all that formidable. And all that I was able to put aside because it's a comic book movie, and they gave us Hulk fighting Veronica, which was so incredible. And I was thankful and I was grateful that they gave us that.
Yeah, I think once you like kind of get past it, they teased Ultron as being super scary as a villain, and then when we got to the theater, like in the movie, he wasn't as scary as he was depicted.
All right,
But-
I don't know. I thought Ultron was very scary. He dropped he
Drop the
almost
country.
dropped a city on people. Yeah. It was just a city. It was Sokovia, capital city, not the whole country.
Yeah, but I
which
mean,
is why
like
Sokovians
he's
survived.
trying to wisecrack. He's being goofy. He's
But
making
you just
humor.
Created by Tony Stark.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying about the over convolution is like they're like, oh, he's got Tony Stark's personalities, and he's made from the Mind Stone, and
But the one thing I found upon the third watching that I thought was interesting was it was a new consciousness that was blossoming. You know, he went through stages pretty fast, but he was still
Yeah.
an adolescent and was prone to the impulses of an adolescent encountering the world. He felt bravado, he felt hubris, he felt, the piss and vinegar of youth. And that, I thought, what was ultimately his undoing, which I thought was really interesting and something I didn't notice the last time.
All right. Well, now that our final panelist is here, I think I wanted to try to take this movie in order. So, sir, who are you?
Okay. Oh, hello. I am Charlie, the Professor Esser, here from Jersey. Sorry, you know what? My son this morning said, "Oh yeah, I have packets to do." So he actually started crying at the end of the movie, not just because of
Charlie Esser. Until
happened?
this moment, I thought you were Build-A-Bear.
As you do. Maybe I am. To quote the great Rocket Raccoon, maybe I am. Yeah, so we had some trouble getting here, but I'm here now, and my son is doing his typing.
What'd you think of the movie?
Here's what I got to say about this movie. I liked it, and however, I have to say it's a movie you got to see more than once. And I got the feeling everybody in the audience with me today had seen it before, because there were certainly a lot of different. There's a lot of reactions that the first time I saw it were a lot more intense when I saw it on Saturday. By Sunday, people were still having the reactions, but you could see that people were like, not as intense about them because they were exciting. Tristan, you want to say what you thought of the movie? Tristan, you're gonna have to get closer if you want to talk. But anyway, no, okay, so you do that. He said it was a pretty good movie. Yeah.
He was interpreter.
And
hey.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, Tristan, if you want to talk, come here and talk. You can talk if you want to come here. It'll only take you a few minutes. Anyway, yeah, but as I watched it the second time, I caught that a lot of things that kind of bothered me. I realized they do touch base on in the film, like the whole time travel paradox issue. The Hulk is actually quite explicit in how they talk about time travel and about how you can't actually change the past.
Well, yeah, like how they used to do it at Marvel, that you can't change the past. It just creates an alternate timeline, yeah.
Well, no, because actually I don't even think that they're necessarily creating an alternate timeline. They did suggest you would create the alternate timeline if you remove the Infinity Stone from that time and that point in space. But that, although your reality continues to exist, it creates another reality where we don't have the stone.
Yeah.
Unless you return them at the exact moment that they left that reality. Which, I thought was very cool. I
got more questions for you, Charlie, about the time travel. I want your thoughts on, because I understood that part, but the parts that bother me, that I'm still trying to wrap my head completely around with the time travel. One, this is all spoilers, okay? But you killed Thanos. The past version of Thanos is what died. So everything that happened, like with the Guardians of the Galaxy, in the first film, like where Thanos talks to Ronan, and all that stuff, he's no longer there.
So they're creating an alternate timeline.
Well, let me actually, you know what? There's actually, this is actually This is actually my own theory of time travel, but it maybe exists elsewhere.
And I'm cool with that. I'm just
This
saying,
is the-
like, that's the first
Yeah.
one. Let me just throw out the 3,
Mhm.
and then we can. The second one is the fact that Peggy Carter got married and had children, right? So if Steve went back and lived with her,
But that
Okay.
one's easy. We never see the husband. They never mention the husband's name. So who says it wasn't Steve all along?
ooh, that's a good idea. I mean, because they did mention him because he was. Oh, I don't remember where, if it was on Agent Carter or what, because, or if it was a flashback clip or something, because her husband was. Well, you're right. They never show him because she said he was one of the men that Captain America saved.
And if you throw,
I'll let that one slide. Okay, I
and
can roll
she's
with
a
that
spy,
one.
so she does lie sometimes.
Right. The other one.
and if it's a different name, he might have used the alias. You know.
Yeah.
The other one is the fact that in 2012, Sayla, 2012, Loki got the Space Stone back. So that would mean, did Thor ever take him to Asgard? Wouldn't that impact what happened in Thor: The Dark World?
That's
and everything that way, like, because Loki slipped out right there. Well, those are the 3 now 2 that bother me: Loki and Thanos. Now, Charlie, go.
Okay, so the theory so here's the theory of time travel, that you don't actually travel to a past universe. You just travel to a universe that is at that point in that space-time. So the point in time that you're leaving from is the exact same point in time that you are. So essentially, imagine it like this. So let us say, if you think about the idea of a clockwork universe, and you have the Big Bang, and all of the atoms and particles go out and move out into the way they do. They are going to follow, because of everything that happened before. There's only their wave function is in a continuous state of collapse, so that there is always one reality at any moment in time. Now, this does not presume, this does not discount free will and things like that and all that philosophical stuff, because there is still probability in its unfolding. It's just that, in truth, time unfolds in a single instant, but we observe it as an ongoing process. In this idea, that moment in the future, if you were to be able to move backwards in time, you are not actually going backwards in time. You are moving to another universe in which you did not previously exist as 2 separate entities. So because you're bringing that data into that universe is now going to unfold differently. But every universe that existed before that, it continues just as it always has.
So hold on. So you're going to an empty universe that was devoid of anything until you put something there.
No. It's the idea that so imagine this. So that instant of the Big Bang, that instant is infinite. It exists as one point in time that is constantly expanding outward. Now, so if you go back to that moment, there's one Planck second of the start of the Big Bang. And that Planck second is just constantly there, constantly essentially repeating. In the next Planck second, that's the universe of that next second, and so on and so on and so forth. As you go back, it's like, you think about it like a billion, like you would draw it if you were doing this in a comic book, as like a bunch of little bubbles going backwards. So when you go to that next Planck second in the past, that's actually a different universe that is now unfolding on its own path through the time stream, because there's a constant Big Bang at the start of the time stream that gets everything flowing. So because it's constant, every second is a new universe.
So I think the question at the heart of it here is: are we screwing with somebody else's timeline to get what we want, or are we actually in fact helping the people that we lost? Are we bringing them back, or are we just visiting another version of them and placating ourselves?
So that is what the Ancient One said. that basically when you go back, you bring back everyone in your timeline. But here, this universe doesn't have it. That's why you had to go back and put the stones back.
Put everything back.
Now, the question with Loki is, because he does have that space stone in 2012, yes, that is going to alter that universe dramatically. However, that is not going to affect the future. That's just going to create an alternate timeline. And although Loki getting the space stone, or the space stone back in his hands is certainly problematic, it is not a Thanos level threat per se.
No, but it just changes the timeline. So I wonder if they ever want Hiddleston back, if they can like have the alternate Loki like come to this timeline.
Well, that's what I wonder about the whole Loki series. I think a
lot of that's supposed to be flashback, but
but and not for nothing, as we always say, it's different for gods. And yes, that is intentionally their little get out of Loki dead free card.
And all the fallout from this that we're talking about, I think we're probably going to get to see in future movies and future TV shows. So all these questions, I think, will be what they have as fuel to create episodes with.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. They left it as an ending, and they created this great ending point for it. But at the same time, as my point is that when we get to Avengers 5, Electric Boogaloo, what we are going to be dealing with is the rise of Kang.
The rise of what?
Kang the Conqueror. Time traveler.
All right, so what's his story? Can somebody fill me in?
Oh, yes. So Kang is essentially, he's a person from the distant future who decided that life had gotten too boring. Because he lived in the distant future. He lived in a distant future utopia.
Isn't it like the 40th century or something?
Yeah, it's a universe without want or need or concern.
It's Star Trek.
Yes, exactly. It's whatever you want, you can have it, and people only work for their own joy and pleasure and amusement. And he was like, "Oh, I hate that. I wish I could go back." And he's what? The only adventure we have are these old westerns we watch.
So wait, is his intention to come back here and use the world as an amusement park and enjoy it? Or is his idea to come back and wreak havoc for some...
Well, his goal is to conquer all of time before the 40th century.
Yeah, because he'll travel to different time periods and like try to like conquer,
Yeah, so...
Reverse Flash much?
Yes. Yeah, so he goes back, like his first time he goes back is Rama Tut. And
to ancient Egypt, yeah.
Okay, Vandal Savage in that case. Okay.
He fought the Fantastic Four in ancient Egypt. He fought the Avengers like in the 20th century. So
I'd watch that movie.
And for him, as another, that's their hope. So the biggest question with regard to Cap coming back as an old man. Because if he stays with Peggy, arguably, there's two possibilities. There are two possibilities that you can have with this. Okay? Because remember, he can jump around that time stream as much as he wants. He lived out an entire universe with Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Or possibly not. We don't actually know if they stayed together or not. We just saw that they had a dance.
No, he had the wedding ring on, and
No. So here's the thing: he can go back to a previous. So he lives his life with Peggy, then he jumps back to before he goes and meets Peggy, then goes back to his mainline universe.
So he lives it out, but then makes it technically ineffective.
Couldn't he have?
No.
Couldn't he have jumped back and stayed in the main universe? Because if he kept his head down and didn't like alter any event,
I mean, yeah. So well, that's a question. That is possible. That is arguably the theory. Although I think, unless we're using a closed loop theory of time, which means that he went back because he always went back.
Yeah.
Then that's what he did, and then you have to go into this idea that Cap let Shield become infected by Hydra. That Cap let all of the things that Hydra did go unchecked.
But again,
just
too,
enough to mess
you
with
have
the
to
timeline.
let that happen, or who else knows what's going to happen to the timeline? And, you know, maybe he was trying not to split it off
Yeah.
in two. He knows.
Well,
I don't know.
My biggest
Yeah, well-
thing is to get us back on track is I don't say I'm not happy, but like they tried to set up their own rules for time travel, and I feel like it didn't give us enough to really like understand their rules.
Well, let me. I think, as the Hulk said, either all of it's a joke or none of it's a joke. You know,
True.
This is
And that's what I'm
time
saying,
travel.
You have to roll with it, and that's is like we're not given enough like rules of time travel like other forms where we can really feel like we can debate things. It's just kind of like you just gotta kind of go with it and accept what they're doing.
Well, just remember, Back to the Future is bullcrap.
Exactly.
Well,
bullcrap.
basically, what they say is all time travel films are bullcrap. Because although arguably,
Die Hard? No, that's not one.
arguably, what they're really saying is that, which is sort of the so. And let me give you the crux of it. Back to the Future has very strong time travel rules, which I've always said, which has the idea that there is a single universe on a single timeline that can have paradoxes affect the past, but that time, like all other things governed in an etheric universe, has a speed limit. So when a change goes into the past, it will take time for it to come to the future.
Like, did you say like a sound of thunder,
So,
like a ripple?
Oh, I don't. I mean,
so basically,
well, in the Sound of Thunder, he goes back to the future, and the world has changed. I've actually never read A Sound of Thunder or watched the movie. I know I've heard great things about it. It's one of those classic sci-fi things that everyone should
basically they need a ripple effect so Biff can get the time machine back to 2015 before the change takes effect.
So, I'm just saying, let's get back to the movie.
Yes.
You know?
All right. I wanted to do this in order, but you know. All right.
What order were you trying to do? Just out of curiosity.
The way it appeared on the screen.
Chronological.
Yes. Well, in a time travel movie, that's kind of hard. No, I meant first scene we get was
The
Hawkeye.
Observers.
We finally see where Hawkeye was this whole time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, that's the biggest temporal paradox in the whole thing.
What's that?
He still has his ankle bracelet on. By the time that the snap happens, Scott had already had his ankle bracelet removed.
Yeah, that was
So
Scott. That wasn't Clint, though.
No, but you have to ask.
His penalty might have been longer for his involvement.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what his deal was. Also,
because Scott just jumped in and helped them at the airport. I mean, Clint was there for longer. He went and got Scarlet Witch out of Avengers headquarters and was battling with Vision.
Okay.
So yeah,
my other question.
The argument is he had a longer.
I don't remember how long is the time elapse from when. Do we say like at the end of Ant-Man? Is there any kind of indication of how much time has passed at the end of Ant-Man 2? How much time has passed when we get the scene of all of them, the post-credit scene?
Oh yeah.
Is it just like, hey, it's kind of like the next day, like after he's released,
well,
after he gets it off, or is there any kind of indication says like 6 months later, 3 months later, or anything like that?
I don't recall that. I do think it's supposed to be relatively immediate after the adventures because
it seemed like within days. It seemed like
within days.
And that kind of makes sense though.
Ant-Man said he was there for 5 hours, but he showed up and it was 5 years later. Is that what you mean?
No, he means
no.
At the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but how much between the end of the movie and the end credit scene in that movie?
Yeah, because that would fall in line with the Hawkeye stuff because he just got his bracelet removed, and then like you said, Hawkeye still has his. So it's relative to believe that it was close for Hawkeye to get his removed or not.
Yeah.
I love the opening scene of Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
With his family, just the way they do it, because you don't see them disappear.
So I just wonder if his daughter's going to be Kate Bishop.
Well,
quote unquote.
Man, you're making it hard to go in chronological order here because the most fascinating. You know what's the most fascinating thing about this is now, right?
What?
When we get to Homecoming, Peter Parker's ID says he's 21.
Far From Home.
So
Yeah.
okay, so
Far
here's
From Home.
okay. If we're gonna jump ahead, my thing is, did Ned, Peter, MJ, Flash,
They all must have
everyone
got
at school
snapped.
all must have got snapped because does that mean okay? So
Or at
does
least-
that mean I'm watching Homecoming right now and I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
Is he
all the kids we see are probably had to have been snapped because they're all the same age still.
Was he? Here's my question: was he a freshman during Homecoming?
I believe so.
I think
Why?
so, yeah. And she was like a
Because-
junior or a senior.
Because he has to be. Because if
Wasn't
you
he
think about it,
transferring to that school? Or I'm thinking of a
Infinity War takes place 2 years roughly after Civil War. That's your 2-year gap. Because they mentioned because Homecoming and Black Panther take place immediately after Civil War. So that means that in Infinity War, Peter's a junior. So that means when he gets back, he's back to being a junior/senior from Far From Home. Because that's
Right.
what I'm putting my time together because I'm like, wait a minute. That means that everybody had to be snapped.
That's the weird thing because I know they wanted to keep Tony's daughter. Again, spoilers, but it's like, yeah, if you don't,
Well,
if
she
you
was
don't
born
revert,
after the snap.
yeah, if you don't erase that 5 years, now it's like people came back and it's like
Just like
Well, exactly.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man has it worse. He missed 5 years of his daughter.
oh yeah, the daughter age and he didn't. Yeah,
in the most.
Yeah.
But here's okay. Quick thing. Remember in Homecoming how we have Betty Brant at the school with them in high school? Well, with the 5-year gap, if she didn't get snapped, she's now older than them.
Oh,
so
she could be at the
kind of
Bugle.
works out.
Yeah. It actually works out perfectly. Betty Brant, ace reporter for the Daily Bugle. Or I'm sorry, Bugle Network Television. On the Fact Channel. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like with that 5-year gap, I honestly I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was just a great way to really have some real stakes, but also have a way to really show the connectedness of the universes. And we'll know that when we get to Homecoming, when people have this whole thing, and like I said, the most obvious thing is that Pete's ID says he's over 21, meaning all those guys can buy beer now.
Well, I think also it helped give power to when Ant-Man's like, for you guys, it felt like 5 years. For me, it was 5 hours. So right there, it just helped establish a little bit more. If you had not seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, like my wife has not, that what the quantum realm means. It just kind of like, oh, okay. So it kind of gave validity to we experienced time. He experienced it one way, everyone else experienced it another way.
But again, too, this was in the trailer. You saw his ID because they can mess with stuff in that trailer. Because remember the trailer for this movie? They showed Rocket without the Hulk behind him, and then in this movie, the Hulk was behind him.
Phil, what I'm saying is his actual ID. So for example, my let's say that Peter Parker's ID says he was born in the year 25. Or I'm sorry, 2005. Okay.
No. You're not getting what I'm saying. Where did you guys see the ID? Was it in the trail? The Far From Home?
No. I'm just saying he can buy beer.
Oh yeah,
he
but I'm
was
just
talking about
saying
as an
that thing
idea.
could say whatever they
Someone
want.
mentioned earlier that his ID said he was 21.
Yeah. But I'm saying if it was in the trailer, they changed stuff in those trailers. They probably did. They might have did that not to give away the Endgame stuff.
I don't watch Marvel trailers anymore. I'll watch the first one.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm done because, like you said, they even admit they change footage. They alter stuff.
They did it for this movie. That when Rocket walked in to see Thor.
How often do you complain that they show too much in the trailer? Oh, I wish.
Oh no, I agree. I just don't want to be shown false information. That's what makes me mad.
Just spend my imagination, let it go wild, and then show me. I don't mind it.
See, I don't like it because then it's just another way of leading me into like, oh man, I thought I was gonna get this scene and I didn't. Hence, Avengers seeing the Hulk run behind all the Avengers.
Right.
Because let's think about this real quick. In 2 movies, we got nothing from the Hulk as far as Hulk action. We got him fighting Thanos.
No. Yeah, we got him fighting Thanos.
And then that's it.
Yeah. Because then we also get him fighting Banner. And that's the psychological qualities of the Banner Hulk dynamic, which is what a real Hulk fan is looking for.
That's why nobody
You want to get inside that Hulk brain.
That's why no one liked Ang Lee's Hulk. Nobody wants to see him fight Banner. But he did nothing.
I did.
If they do it right.
No, first off, I love Ang Lee's Hulk. I'm sorry a lot of people didn't like his visual style, but you know what? He was trying to do something that people didn't like, and I get that. But I liked Ang Lee's Hulk. I thought it was my biggest problem with Ang Lee's Hulk was that he had the Hulk gain monstrous proportions.
I love that.
See, I don't like Giant Man Hulk crossover. I don't like the Giant Man Hulk.
Are you in the camp that can argue that Ang Lee's Hulk is actually part of the MCU? Because Incredible Hulk was a soft reboot from Ang Lee?
Well, here's what I will say.
Well, yeah, they kind of recreated.
Yeah. They certainly did not make that an explicit denial. So you can certainly work within the concept.
They cherry picked
of that. Yeah, well, not for nothing. They cherry pick with all these films. I'm sure you can go back to that first Iron Man, which I was watching today.
Yep.
And I think what was it? Yeah, people had pointed this out in the Captain Marvel film that when you have Nick Fury and Agent Coulson being, we're from S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s a thing and an established idea, and then when we first get him at the start of Iron Man, he's like, I'm from the strategic homeland, we're working on it, So clearly there's a disconnect there. Now, was it that that S.H.I.E.L.D. was a new organization in Iron Man 1, which we know it's not, but maybe for whatever reason he was just playing that and it was kind of a organization, but clearly people knew what S.H.I.E.L.D. was in Captain Marvel because they're
in Captain Marvel, did they say S.H.I.E.L.D.? Did they say S.H.I.E.L.D.? I've only seen it once and I cannot remember.
Yeah, they do say S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, when Fury whips out his ID, doesn't he say S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yeah.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel makes my point about branding. And actually, I think Nick Fury makes a point about branding, too.
Just because we know that, it was the strategic science research.
Yeah, it was the original strategic reserve.
So I just couldn't remember, maybe they were still experimenting with it, but back to the Endgame.
But speaking of Captain Marvel, what about that scene when she rescues Tony and Nebula in space?
Which is great. I mean, it makes sense because nobody else has a ship at the moment. We know that, I've had people ask me, do I have to see Captain Marvel to see Endgame? And all I say is, remember at the end of Infinity War when they're calling for Captain Marvel? Yeah, she showed up in the post-credit scene of her own movie to the Avengers. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. And really, she's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to repeat that scene in this movie or not, but I was like, oh, good, they didn't.
I like that they don't repeat the post-credit scenes. They're always kind of like a standalone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this ain't the X-Men after all.
Oh,
I gotta say, Dark Phoenix looks amazing.
Let's not go there. Back to the Endgame, Charlie.
The trailer looked better when I saw it. Yeah,
that could be another podcast we all do because it is worth talking about.
Oh, we will.
That's tangential.
Yeah.
But they get Tony back and he freaks out on Cap and everybody, and then they decide to
Well, he was pretty sick at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm always being honest. But
well, no, he's not being honest because the reason they didn't get back together was because Tony didn't call him. So when Tony's like, hey, we were supposed to stand together. It's like, and it was like, and I'm waiting for Ben.
Well, no.
I can't tell you to call him.
I know, but he's also saying you didn't side with me.
Well, that was his point. Yeah.
Right.
He said, you could have signed the accord, and then we all would have been here.
Right. And in Ultron, when he's trying to put together what he calls the shield around the planet with his iron, Legion, the drone robots, Cap was against him, and that's what he was trying to set up, a shield to just something like that.
But that's kind of like saying, to the guy who just went through Hiroshima, why are you so anti-nuclear weapons? It's like, because we just did this, and we had a whole movie about it, and all of humanity nearly died.
2020 hindsight, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him,
that was him saying, I was right.
Saying goodbye to his kid through a helmet and being saved and gone to near death when he gets back.
Okay, he's not saying goodbye to his kid yet.
He's saying goodbye to Pepper.
He does.
Oh, that's right. He said goodbye to Pepper
because that was before.
Morgan's only 4. maybe 3. She's very precocious. It's hard to tell.
I would say she's 3 to 4 because she.
Yeah,
I know that was
kids.
him saying goodbye was him saying Pepper because that was before the 5 years. Because then they gear up and they go, go for Thanos, and Thor finally goes for the head.
Well,
which was
only
awesome.
after. Well, actually, no. First he goes for the arm, which is the right thing, and going for the head, it was kind of like moot at that point.
Well, I mean, death penalty. How
thing.
many people did he kill?
But if you look at it like this, Charlie, like you just said, like had the 3 main Avengers, not the main Avengers, but the 3 they focus on, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, had they been together when they first fought Thanos, maybe they would have had a better chance.
And one of them could at least held Star-Lord back.
Except for the fact, okay, if you really want to break this down,
but I mean,
Stephen Strange gets Tony Stark because the Hulk asked for Tony Stark.
But even then, I'm saying, like, had they been together, that's the whole point. They were
I see what Charlie's saying.
Well, yeah, but no, what I'm saying is logistically, they wouldn't have been together. The only reason why Peter Parker shows up is because he happens to be on the bus at the time.
We're all gonna die.
If they hadn't had the Civil War, that's the whole point. If they hadn't had Civil War,
if they hadn't had the Civil War, Cap would have been in upstate New York at the Avengers compound at this moment.
And then they could,
because he lives on base.
We don't know. But the whole idea is from Civil War, it splintered them that they were always destined to fail until they got back together and unified. That's what the director said.
I thought what Charlie was saying is Doctor Strange at that point when they went and got Tony, they could have went and got everyone else too. I mean, with Strange's magic, they could have got Cap from anywhere in the world.
Well,
but I'm saying
that's an interesting aspect of this whole story is that Stephen Strange could have gone home at any point on the rocket ship.
Oh yeah,
beating them back from the. It's like it's too dangerous. But he's like, well, let's let it play out. Let's let it play out.
Thematically, the point was from Civil War. The directors have even stated the idea was they were going to lose because once they splintered, they fell apart, they were.
Well, they lost 14 million times. There was only one.
But again, what you're saying is the answer was that Cap should have sided with Tony. Not that Tony
what I'm saying is
with Cap.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying
you're just saying they should have been together.
Right.
Well, and whose fault was that? Because who reached out at the end of Civil War? Who sent a cell phone saying, "If you need me, call me"?
I'm not against that. I'm just saying, but their own personal hubrises, like either Tony's.
Well, you're saying it's both of their faults.
I'm saying it's 100% Tony's fault because Tony didn't reach out. Tony didn't. I mean,
technically, he had the phone to dial out, but the whole point was they couldn't work through their problem. But once they were unified again, it was a different story. And that's the theme, is they had to be unified for however it was going to play out to work.
And not for nothing. And here's your deep, dark aspect of this whole thing. Where's that Iron Legion? That, I signed the accord so that we could have a united front, but he still didn't get his Iron Legion.
No, he signed the accords. He signed the accords to get the government off him so they couldn't prosecute. That's why he signed the accords.
Yes. And the government, and what
he would have somebody to keep him in check, because the whole point is Tony Stark
that was Cap's point, was that the government was a far stronger check on them.
And that's why they signed, is because Tony felt guilty for what he did. And he needed somebody to keep him in check. And that's why he signed the accords.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that his choice to sign the accords was as much something that kept him from protecting the Earth.
Right. That's the whole point. By signing the accords, you gave up your ability to do what you want to do.
What my point is that it's all Tony's fault. And he's trying to blame other people, as many people who feel insanely guilty about their failures will do.
At least the two of them were on the planet. Thor was off somewhere getting a haircut.
A haircut fit for a god.
Well, not for nothing. As Captain Marvel said, a lot of places don't have you guys. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of people who needed Thor's help. Where the heck was Tony Stark when Asgard's getting destroyed?
Like, he could get there. Unless Thor came and got him, how the hell is Tony Stark getting to Asgard?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Well, actually, Thor got there pretty easily. So I'm just saying.
Camera.
Yeah. My
his
point
hammer
is
can call the Bifrost.
yes.
That was
they
my
had the
favorite thing.
Bifrost at that point. The
Everyone-
Bifrost was working at that point.
Everyone
so.
keeps talking about how the time, you're changing timelines and stuff. Well, I guess Cap must have took the hammer back at the exact same point they left, but I was like,
He did.
At some point, was there Thor in another timeline who's like calling for his hammer? I'm like, where the hell's my hammer? God, it's not coming.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
you would think so, but because he put it,
Yeah,
back
he
the
totally
exact
took it back
moment,
the same
it
time.
Works.
Mm-hmm.
They even showed that he had it with him. So,
Mm-hmm.
but 9 to 10. Actually, my biggest question of the whole thing is who fixed Cap's shield.
Yes.
I mean, you would say.
Well, we know the
Shuri or
answer to
T'Challa. It would
Wasn't
be
Howard
Wakanda's-
Stark alive then when he was back?
Well, no. Well, yeah, but he probably had it fixed before then, but they didn't.
Probably the Black Panther or Shuri, probably.
And actually,
That's
just
what I said.
as
Wakandans.
when Tony gives Cap back the shield, he says he made that for him, which supports my theory that he melted down the shield. Which usually is like, oh, Cap's back. I guess I got to give this dang thing back to him. Let's re-smelt it. Because there's no dents or dings in it. This thing has been through a lot, but it's
they so could have folded some of that Fox stuff in when they fixed that shield. They could have said, we fixed it. It's better now. We mixed in a new alloy in there, a man-made one called adamantium.
No, I get the feeling that
I want the mix back. Adamantium and vibranium.
Yeah.
Leave my X-Men in their own pocket universe.
Okay.
They're coming.
Okay, Philip. Okay, it's not adamantium. Adamantium is not. It's not an adamantium vibranium alloy. It is true adamantium, which is a steel vibranium alloy. Okay.
Potato.
No, that's a very big, because what Wolverine has is actually something that's called secondary adamantium, because no one has been able to reproduce the falling asleep at the science project thing that McLaughlin did to actually create Cap's shield accidentally.
Okay, so I have a question. When Banner does the snap, does he bring back everybody, or does he just bring back his friends that he can remember?
He brings back.
No, he brought back
everyone. I'm pretty sure. So the whole universe.
Yeah, because he didn't know Ned, so.
Everybody knows Ned.
It was the magic lamp. I think they said, as soon as you get that gauntlet on, just think, hey, bring everyone back. Boom.
Yeah. Although, man, let's just say for a moment that Tony was being real restrained there at the end. Everybody who's evil. Well, of course, he might not find himself in a good spot then, but still.
Yeah, but then it's gonna be like, well,
really emotional reaction to Tony Stark, Charlie.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question:
I'm just saying,
how come
the man makes his money? What? I'm sorry. What?
I was gonna say, how come Hulk's arm is all melted after he used the gauntlet? Shouldn't Tony Stark's arm have been gone after he snapped?
Yeah, well, no, because it's still encased in armor. It's burnt.
I think he should have got up a little bit more.
Maybe.
No, I mean, the armor off, it might be all.
Yeah, shouldn't the armor and the arm been gone?
Well, unless now it's fused to his. Actually, what Tristan said at that time was, "Oh, is his armor fused to his body now?"
No.
It's the nanite.
Or it might have burned on the inside, and the armor's strong enough to bear it, but on the inside it's charred bone.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if it was melted to his hand when his.
All right. So after they behead Thanos, they jump ahead to 5 years, and we get the real hero of this movie, a rat.
Yes, Master Splinter. Master
It has
Splinter
been officially confirmed, so
it's been confirmed.
We're getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Disney movie. All right.
There we go.
I think it was Bran Stark seeing through the eyes of the rat and saying people needed help.
Oh, and you know what? He is part of the Stark family, so he certainly would have been able to do that. Yes. I think that.
But I just love, because we were all like, oh, it's, Scott Lang's just going to grow out of the quantum realm. It's like, no, Rat lets him out. Hits the right stick with the keys.
You know what? If nothing else, it also really makes a great point about the limitations of the Pym particles and the fact that they had limited Pym particles left, which actually freaked me out for a minute when I was thinking about it. Wait, how come he's growing and shrinking again? They only had so many Pym particles. And I went, oh, Cap stole more than he needed to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Cap cleared him out.
But also, once they brought Pym back,
Yeah, Pym could have made more. Yeah,
because he's there at the funeral of Tony. So
no. During the battle, they just brought Hank Pym back, and Hank Pym came back in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not at the battle. That's the thing. It's like none of those. They didn't take like, hey, get the geriatric people back here for the battle.
Oh, I got you.
Unless Scott miscounted.
Yeah, no, but no, he clearly brought extras with him, and that's why he's able to. That was the thing that I thought that I liked best about seeing this film the second time, was that all the things that I was saying, oh, that's a problem, I realized, oh no, they actually do kind of address that. They actually do touch on that. They're very good about their plot holes at Marvel in an individual movie. Yeah. Movie to movie, they'll let a plot hole.
I mean, there's 22 of them.
Yeah.
With different directors, yeah.
I mean, there's not that many plot holes. I think the most is when it starts to get a little mucky with like where they accidentally try to change the year and timeline in Spider-Man with that title card that said the year.
I mean, they're only doing it for our benefits. I mean, I feel like we're nitpicking. I think what they accomplished here was absolutely gigantic. It's one of the coolest ones ever done.
Well, that's what DC needs. I mean, you got all these different directors, but you have Kevin Feige there, who and they have a plan.
It's a producer-driven studio system, not an individual director-driven.
Which, if you want a unified universe, you have to have that.
Right. Well, it's a showrunner. It's like a showrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because not for nothing, you can't have. And that's the problem with the idea of the Zack Snyder verse. Not that there's anything wrong with Zack Snyder, but when you just
no, there is.
Well, I'm trying to be defensive. I'm trying to say it's not something necessarily against him. I'm just saying if you only have one director, because even Joss Whedon by Age of Ultron, they're like, let's send in they wanted to send in a relief pitcher. It's like baseball. It doesn't matter that the guy threw like 5 innings great. You sometimes need to get someone else in there. Anyway, yes, Tyler, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I'm dealing.
Call out the one sort of DC moment that there was in this movie where Cap is fighting Cap, which was awesome, by the way. But then he said, "Fuck, he's alive," and we have our little Martha moment. I thought, was that on purpose? Do you think that was like a little jab? It felt like it.
Oh, well, here's what I'll say, because I love that scene, because it is something he's doing just to get him to react, and then but then unlike Superman, then not just like snapping Superman's neck. Well, Superman doesn't do that, but the idea that once it happens. Then Cap kicks himself in the face, and then uses the thing to wipe that memory from.
I mean, I don't know if that was a jab at DC. I just took it as like, he's
the MCU ship, so I took it as like fan service.
That too, but I was just thinking, because they were calling out everything, but too, I thought as he's sitting there getting choked out, he's like, what's the one thing I could say to myself that might shock me and make me stop for a second?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
I could do this all day. Yeah, I know.
Which I loved, and I'm glad that he didn't say that again later.
Yes, that little bit of restraint went a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Although we did finally get him to say Avengers Assemble.
Yes,
that was the one thing I said going into this. Like, my wife's like, "Okay, what do you want to see out of this movie?" I was like, "Cap says Avengers Assemble." I'm like, it's so easy, and they've made sure not to use it in any movie up until now.
Oh, my wife was getting sick of me at that point. He's like, Avengers? I'm like, he's gonna say the thing.
Well, yeah, but as far as things, Cap and the Hammer.
Oh, that was the other one too. I was like, oh, they're gonna pay off Age of Ultron right here.
Yeah, well, I said both times. Well, it's just as exciting the second time too. When Cap picks up that hammer. Because he was always worthy. You know?
Also, the other thing was, if you ask like who decides who's worthy, it's the universe making an equation out of what's possible of the variables that exist in the universe in reality right now, right? So in that situation with everything on the line, perhaps the universe's equation was that he was worthy enough for that moment. And maybe he earned it. I don't know, but I'm willing to go with that. That's enough for me to say, okay, he was worthy enough to in that moment be able to pick it up.
They've actually discussed that a few times in comics because, like, there's one where Superman lifts the hammer and then he can't lift the hammer.
Superman?
And Superman, yeah.
There's a crossover.
Yeah, it was in a crossover, yeah. And Odin says, "Oh yeah, sometimes it makes exceptions." You know, which I thought was like the biggest freaking cop out ever.
No,
Superman is totally worthy to wield Thor.
But I think it speaks to the movable nature of the variables that decide that equation of what is worthy or not. In certain moments in time, that worthiness is dependent on the universe it exists in. You know,
I do think it's an equation. The way they've always played it with Thor and stuff, I always think it's like a numbers game. It's like, have you made more unselfish decisions than selfish decisions?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think that Cap is worthy at his core.
Oh yeah.
I think that faltered. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if he's never faltered, but I know that. Here's what I'll say. Cap is the kind of guy.
To his code. He's never faulted at sticking to his code.
I'll give you one scene. I'll give you one scene that portrays it the best. In First Avenger, when he throws himself on that grenade and he thinks it's a live grenade.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. And you know what? That's a great way for him to be. What I will always say about Cap is it isn't so much that there's this great line from Abraham Lincoln when just as they're about the basically
out my head.
We're in the middle of Civil War, and one of his cabinet secretaries say, and he says, and God is on. Just remember, Mr. President, God is on our side. And he says, I don't know if God is on our side. I just hope that we are on His side. And it's this idea that Cap probably has made mistakes, but he is willing to admit that he does not know anything. He's willing to accept that he has made mistakes and is willing to work through mistakes. And I think that makes you more worthy than anything. I think the worthiest thing you can do is to say, oh, I was wrong. Or, the choices I've made have not been the best ones, and I need to do better. And I need to overcome my own selfishness.
Well, yeah, because until the end of this movie, he spent his life in service to everyone else. Even after the snap, he was running that support group, which I was reading after the fact. I forget if it's either Joe or Anthony Russo. One of the Russo brothers was in that.
He's the guy who's talking about his date.
But does anyone know who the older guy was? There was an older guy there. Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Well, and not for nothing, just a delightful idea that Captain America is running a support group for about 5 people.
Well, that day there could have been more. But
it's just the idea that. Well, no, it's the idea that Cap is being this man of the people.
Yeah,
and he's just volunteering at the local YMCA, running the support group for people that have that are dealing with the snap issue.
Well, I was thinking about this too. I mean, the only bright side to the snap is you have to have half the population, but you've probably cut the crime rate in half too.
I love Cap. He's like, man, I saw a pot of whales on the way over here. You can say what you want. The oceans are cleaner.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the that was Thanos' point.
And my first thought was when they showed the Statue of Liberty with all those free boats next to it. I was like, man, it's a party.
Yeah, free boats.
But some of those neighborhoods were pretty trashed. It seemed like they were just abandoned.
Well, and not for nothing. The whole thing with Clint is that it was not. It's not like half the criminals disappeared. It's half the people. And in the event that half the people disappeared, a lot more people might decide to become criminals.
True.
Just because half the cops disappeared, and that seems to be what Hawkeye's dealing with. is that these game, and that seems to be what the entire Avengers thing was. It's like if anyone's going out, if anyone thinks that this is a free pass for them just because half the universe is gone, let them know that the Avengers are on the case.
Okay, well, here's my problem. I know it's a comic book movie and everything, but like at the end of the movie, Hawkeye just gets to go home to his family. I mean, yeah, I know everyone he went after were probably like horrible criminals, but like he killed how many people?
Yeah, but you have any
And he doesn't have
evidence
to answer for that?
You have any evidence
Well,
of
he's
that,
the
Philip?
purple arrow, is how I
He
take
was
that.
probably still on parole and he killed how many people?
Yeah, but like, according to what records? You know, like,
Yeah,
they don't,
exactly.
like, nobody
True.
can track. They don't even know who's supposed to be like.
Yeah,
That's
and not for
true.
nothing.
Because
Philip,
besides Cap and Widow, did anyone else know he was out there doing that? I could
yeah. In fact, they even said, probably another rival gang.
Hmm.
When they're saying, yeah, we know it's Barton, but the federales are just saying
There's
probably
no
another
proof.
gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he knows, and he has to deal with that weight for the rest of his life. And we'll probably get mentions of that in our new upcoming Hawkeye series starring Jeremy Renner. Whatever
Renner.
his last name is.
2 R's, Renner.
No, is an N or an M in the middle. That's what I always get lost on. Is it Remmer or Renner?
No, it ends. It's Renner.
But yeah, so after Scott,
I'm back, guys. I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Yay!
But anyway, so after Scott comes back and tells them his wacky idea he had, and they're like, and Cap's like, a time machine? No, okay, I guess a time machine.
Yeah.
So they go see Tony Stark and see the daughter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset that I got no Lewis in this movie.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we all were.
Man up. I was really, really looking forward to a Lewis cameo. Just a cameo.
Oh, we did get Korg.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't worry, he'll get his own series eventually.
I hope he deserves it.
Petition
Disney
started.
Recaps with Lewis.
No. Charlie, the What If series, instead of the Watcher, you make it Lewis every time. Okay, so here's what happened, man.
Luis,
yeah.
bro.
Luis. Okay.
I work with a guy whose
Luis
name
or
is
is it
Luis,
Lewis?
but everybody calls him Lewis. And it gets on his nerves.
But yeah,
They're spelled the same.
but like I love the daughter Morgan, because like when Tony figures out time travel, he's like, oh, S word, and she's like, S word. And he's like, what?
Yeah. Oh yes.
I love that scene.
See, and that just shows that he's being too restrained with his swearing at the house because
Language.
Language.
Oh, Cap wasn't.
Yeah.
What happened to Cap?
Well, exactly. But I'm telling you, like,
Let's go get that SOB.
Unless that's a new word they hadn't heard up to that point.
Also, don't forget, Phil. He says that's America's ass right there.
Yes.
Well, it was America's ass. I think that's something we can all agree.
Yeah, wasn't that it, and not another teen movie?
Yes.
Was that not another teen movie? I don't know.
I have not seen that
he was the
movie.
one wearing the whipped cream.
But I mean, that comment. I've not seen that movie since it first came out.
I haven't. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was a reference to another movie.
There's a meme for. I don't know if it was a reference, but.
Oh well, then why are you saying it is?
Yeah, Phil.
Why was he like naked with whipped cream on him? That's what.
Who was Paul
Chris
Rudd?
Evans.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Was that not another teen movie? Was that
Yes. It was not another teen movie.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
No, Maz, not wow.
What? No, maybe it was. I don't know. I didn't remember that, but now I'm like, shit. Wow, yeah.
Oh no, it is. It's him. It's straight. I mean, it's Chris Evans. I know that much.
Chris Evans has had a very long and storied career.
Just like in not another teen movie, the foreign exchange student was one of, I think, the Wild Force Yellow Ranger. So if any Power Rangers fans were out there, they got a little surprise.
Are you sure that was not another teen movie and not one of the movies that it was parodying?
Charlie, yes, we're not going by your memory.
Charlie, I'm a walking IMDb.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Okay, yeah, but yeah. Well, good for Chris Evans. Good work.
Well, I love a good argument. If somebody wants to argue with me, I'm always down for that.
But yeah. So anyway, can I say like what my biggest problem with the time travel narrative is?
Sure.
That just because he moved forward in time at a faster rate, that Scott assumes he could move backwards in time. That just shows a complete lack of, and honestly, that's why everyone dismisses this. All the actual brains.
He's like he's not a physicist. Right?
Yeah.
He's like an electrical
they make
engineer.
it a point to say several times that he's an idiot.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
I think that's why he says he's basically saying if it worked this way, can it work that way? And he's trying to explain it, and that's why they go to the Hulk and to Tony. He's like, look, I know this. I don't know enough about this to really figure it out. But this is what happened to me when I was there. Is there a way we can use this?
Yeah.
But if you want, but my point is, if you really want to point out, Tony could have dismissed this a lot easier by just saying, just because you went forward in time doesn't mean you can go backwards in time. That those are two completely separate things.
What was that kind of what he said to them at first? It wasn't he like, I've run the numbers, it don't work.
But then it goes. I always think back to Dr. Manhattan when he talks about how we perceive things as moving forward and backwards, and it's not really moving forward and backwards. Time is just elusive and moving. Well, it goes back to the rules of time theory. I want to say like my problem coming into this movie was I didn't want it to be we fixed everything. I wanted there still to be consequences and like stakes, because
there was. I always thought they were going to take it back to the right after Thanos snapped, and they didn't.
Right.
They left that 5 years.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that was like my fear going in was, they're just going to fix everything. But no, there still was the stakes of course, certain people's deaths, Tony, Black Widow. But the 5 years really does linger on you. It's like we fixed it, but it's not perfect. It's like we didn't fix everything. There's still like you show up, paid.
You get back to the world, and your job isn't there. And not only that, but the organization, the government, or the company that job existed in doesn't exist anymore. So there's a whole lot of catch up that people need to do to get society back on.
I think
or even like Scott Lang, you come back and the relatives have aged up 5 years.
Right.
That's the best character to kind of look at how you would experience it. Is all of a sudden, you're back or your kid's back and you're older.
I was going to say the age gap between you and your kids might not be as big.
Actually, you're going to see this. You're going to see this in Homecoming. I guarantee you, because it is going to be this idea that Peter and some of his friends are still teenagers. And as an example, I don't know if we've seen. Have we seen? Yeah, we've seen MJ in the trailers. So.
That's why I said like
Ned, MJ, Flash. They're all So I think
so they could all be now friends because they're all snappers.
Yep, they have a shared experience and a bond that other kids, like you said, that have already graduated and moved on.
Homecoming, yeah. Well, exactly. They have all graduated and moved on.
And
so now, Betty Grant's working at the Bugle now.
We don't know. Like, there's some people that we don't know what happened to them. We don't know what happened to Aunt May. Did she get snapped? Or
I was going to say, if they want to keep the age gap, they could say she was snapped too, because we don't see her till the funeral.
Hey, did anybody did anybody recognize originally who the kid was at Tony's funeral?
Oh, no, I had to look that up.
Who was it?
It's the kid from Iron Man 3.
Oh, is it?
But wasn't that supposed to be
too.
The one who gives him the Hello Kitty watch?
Yeah.
Yes. That's him. I thought that was great, but when I found out later, that was just beautiful.
I did too, because I kept thinking to myself, who is that? Who is that?
Oh, yeah.
And then I actually had to read it somewhere. Because like, oh, wow. Because, of course, the actor has grown up. Puberty is a force of nature. And I'm like, that's great, because I feel like Iron Man 3 gets left out so much. Like the events of it, the themes of it.
Okay, wait. Okay, we're almost there. I need to drop this bomb on Charlie Esser, because Charlie Esser's going to cry. Charlie, we got Professor Hulk, but Doc Samson and the Ringmaster were not involved.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
That was disappointing. I mean, I guess they were saying that, we don't have time for that stuff.
Yeah,
and maybe neither one made it through. Yeah, it's a lot of backstory to put in there. And
we got
when you don't have an end credit scene,
Yeah.
I just wish he was bigger. That's what she said.
Oh.
He looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger size. We got people that big. We need a Hulk.
No.
The angrier Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. So I wonder if when he gets angrier, if he actually grows a little bit.
I hope so, because that was a little.
No, I don't think. I don't think he's as short as you think. I think what it is, and it's all camera angles.
And it's just
It's like
and he's in more of a relaxed
Made
state
in the
too.
computer.
And Maz, he's wearing a shirt.
No.
Maz, most of the
Yeah.
time he's wearing a shirt too. You're not used to seeing him wearing a
When
shirt.
the Hulk runs by, they seem about the same size.
A little underwhelmed.
Well, I mean, when think about it when the Hulk goes back to 2012, and we see 2012 Hulk go by, he's bulkier, he's bigger, and that's the point. Is Professor Hulk is smaller, in thickness and in height.
To make him so much smaller.
Again,
I
I'm
will
thinking
tell you
it's
right
the
now.
mood. It's the
I will
mood because
tell you right now,
old Hulk's only
I
going to
did
rage.
not really like the Hulk in this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, I like the idea that Banner can control him.
yeah,
But I just felt like the Professor Hulk, maybe it felt more like it was just Banner now, but
yeah.
the character was different,
I
for me, I didn't like it because I like the Hulk. I like that dichotomy of him trying to fight with himself. Even like if he finds inner peace, that's fine, and they find a way to work together. But I just felt like the way Hulk was in this, it wasn't Hulk to me, and that's kind of like what I was saying was.
They could have given us a scene where he used his Banner mind to get out of a combat situation in a more strategic way than Hulk would have. That would have paid off that marriage better.
They should
What would have been?
They should have just did Joe Fix It.
Huh?
What they should have had is they should have had a moment where you saw the Hulk's rage coming out.
Yeah. Yes, and that was
the one thing I was waiting for that they didn't really do.
Yeah,
and that's why I say I feel like we got let down by the Hulk in 2 movies because in Infinity War he fights Thanos, he gets whipped, he's gone. But they teased us in the trailer that he was going to be, in the fight in Wakanda, and then in this he doesn't ever fight. He doesn't ever do anything.
That's why they should have went with the Gray Hulk. He's a smarter Hulk, but again, it's a different personality from Banner, so you could have had like the best of both worlds now.
Although I am going to say the Hulk holding up the building.
Well,
Secret Wars shout out, Charlie.
And that's
yeah.
great. Like that's great of him. But that's all. I'm like that whole battle. Like we could have cut back to him, but once everybody was out, he could just got out of the building and then joined the battle. Because I would have liked to seen him fight. What's his name? I can't remember. The black. One of the children, the big guy.
the big like monster.
The Black Dwarf or something like that.
Yeah, the one that they called out in Infinity War, where he's like, Banner, you want a piece?
Oh yeah.
I wanted kind of that.
You embarrassed me in front of the wizard.
I kind of wanted Hulk to come running in and be like, I'm gonna take a piece now. I kind of.
But that last battle scene was so busy.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean.
And then you might have had that scene and just completely missed it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because evidently I missed Korg the first time I saw this going on, and then there's Korg.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
Oh yeah, they were all there. Yeah,
and I feel like everybody gets their little moment of hey, I love when Black Panther just came walking out, like you saw the sling ring open and he just comes walking out.
Oh
and then I like how. I feel like everybody in my theater forgot about Captain Marvel because everybody's like, "What are they shooting at? Like, what's going on? What She comes flying in and takes out the ship, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah."
Another person goes to space, gets a haircut.
Yeah.
Well,
get your haircut.
Oh, it's 5 year. 5 year different. Yeah, 5.
Phil, you don't go.
I like the shorter. I like the bob. I like it. She's working with her look
too. Yeah. And they're trying to show the passage of 5 years. I get it.
In 5 years, you get a haircut. That's just that's law. You grow a beard, or you get a haircut.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you get fat. I mean, that's just how it is.
All right, we did Professor Hulk. Now let's get to Thor, God of Calories.
Oh, okay. He is channeled the spirit of Volstagg. I love it.
I liked it because it's if you look at it. If you look at Thor from where he started, think about the end of Ragnarok, where he was having just had his planet destroyed, his people are fleeing, and then they're sitting there on the ship, just left. Thanos shows up, half of them get destroyed. He watches Loki die. He watches Heimdall die. He gets hurt. He goes with the Guardians.
So he's stressed.
And then all of a sudden, he failed. And then his whole thing is he's sitting there, he's planning, he's plotting, he's ready for revenge. He cuts off Thanos' head. He didn't get his revenge. He breaks down. That's his mental breakdown. Like he can't take it. He failed. He lost everything, and it's how he just cracks.
And
He has a psychological breakdown.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Tony Stark in Iron Man 3. Yeah.
I mean, he's been holding it together with the death of his mom. Then, like he said, the death of his father. He had to kill his sister. And then everything else, he just snaps. And that's it. Like that's his whole thing. Is like he's broken. And
I thought he played it wonderfully as an actor. I thought those scenes, and he had some of the funniest lines in the movie while going through some of the darkest stuff. And he played both sides of the coin with every line to perfection. You felt that you felt his sorrow, but he would make an offhanded joke, and you felt the joke, and it landed. It was funny, it was on point, but he never betrayed the honest emotion of the moment by saying the funny line either, which I thought was a difficult line to walk, but he did it really well.
And I don't know if this was intentional or not too, but when he had the more weight on, and the hair and the beard was growing out and everything, did anyone think he looked like Odin a little bit?
Yes.
A lot.
And the dude. What's funny is Jania turns to me and says, "Is Thor just the dude now?" Right before Tony says, "Come on,
Lebowski."
Yeah. He does make the Lebowski joke to him. Tony Stark does. But I thought the coolest scene of all is when the battle is about to kick off. It kicks off with his eye coming blue and that one crack of lightning. It was just such like a trumpet to war or something. It was the coolest moment ever.
Oh yeah, and I love the fact that even though he is clearly a man who has let himself go, when the battle comes, he shows up and he is still. I am still the god of thunder.
Yeah,
don't let the beer belly fool you.
I have to give Marvel credit. I thought, once he picks up Stormbreaker, watch his body go back to its original setting. But
I kept thinking that too. I kept thinking he'd call the lightning, and it would
I thought once the power was coursing through me, his body would go back. But no, and I was like, good for them.
I was like, yes, fat man, yes.
They're trying to get ample Americans on their side. That's all.
Well, exactly.
Well, they got the ample American to go twice this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go at least. I'm gonna go at least once more, probably twice more if I can.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go at least once more because, like what Charlie said, there's other stuff you notice, and then things that you're kind of questioning about.
There's so much stuff.
You get to look out for.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I saw it in 3D, so there's a bunch that you miss because you're darting here and there because of the 3D.
Yeah, and I've only seen it twice. I've seen it twice in 3D because Tristan wanted to see it in 3D. I may see it the regular the next time.
I saw it just in IMAX.
Oh, I want to do that.
Oh, the regular, even that last
regular IMAX or 3D IMAX?
Well, I just watched it. Solomon, come here.
But I just watched it on a regular screen and it still looked beautiful. So.
Oh yeah. I'm not a big fan of regular IMAX. Just because when I saw Captain Marvel in regular IMAX, I did not enjoy it as much as seeing it in just regular digital.
It's got to be.
That's just my
with IMAX in mind if you're going to go see it in IMAX, because they got to present it a very specific way.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with IMAX theaters at the Detroit Science Center. Back when it was just used for nature documentaries.
Yeah. Pittsburgh.
Even though those IMAX theaters are still bigger than the movie theater IMAX.
Oh yeah. Movie theater IMAXs are huge, but if you go to one of those science centers, it's like half a dome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, that I could see because I used to love the IMAX theaters as a kid. But it's also weird to me because it is like 1980s technology.
So Lilith Hellfire, how did this movie look on your phone screen?
Excuse me, I have a 4K 65-inch video, so it looked pretty good. And like I said, I did see it in the movie theaters. I don't do 3D because it makes me nauseous. So
fair enough.
Can't be the alcohol.
No, alcohol only makes you nauseous the next day, Philip.
Yeah, he don't know. Drink your raspberry tea, Philip.
Yeah,
it's green tea. Thank you.
Good job, Phil. Good job. Be healthy.
but no, you know what? I thought they was brave, like when they did all the time travels and the one team went back to the first Avengers movie, and there was two other teams went back to the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Thor and Rocket actually go back to Thor 2. I mean, probably the worst movie in the MCU. I'm like, how brave.
Well,
the stone was there. I know, Charlie.
But the stone was there. But the best part was Thor seeing his mom and getting to talk to his mom.
Yeah, that was just beautiful.
I was like, what in the flash is going on right now?
That was beautiful though, because she recognized everything immediately, and it didn't matter. She's like, "This is my son from the future. Whatever, it's my son. Come, let's talk. You need my help. This is what I'm here for."
Well, they're using magic. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is Thor talking to his mom.
Oh,
It got me hard, and then
Whoa.
the other Philip.
Language
How
people.
dare you? The other scene that really like made me like tear up is
Not
when
quite soft and not quite hard.
is when Pepper tells Tony it's okay, you can rest now.
oh,
We'll
yeah,
be
that would
okay.
be okay.
Because I look at it from the eyes of a father, just like I said, I started the MCU single. We finished this. I got 2 kids.
And I thought that was the most meta line too. Is basically the characters telling Tony Stark, "We got this now."
Yes.
Bye, Robert.
Well,
we can hire 3 actors with what we paid you.
But again, like I said, when Avengers 5 Electric Book Alive comes, and we get Kang, Robert's going to show up. Robert's going to show up. Young man Cap is going to show up. It's all going to be
Charles, I don't think so.
Is Robert? No, wait, I got it. Is Robert going to make cameos as the hologram?
I was gonna say.
Did he upload his brain?
But see, I want to say that's what we would want as fans. But I think that would be betraying the story of what they did.
Maybe hologram Iron Man trains a replacement.
Now, I will say though, I feel like it's kind of like how I felt when they brought Coulson back. When they brought
let me put this to you. You do realize that Captain Marvel was an experiment to see, hey, you know how comic book characters live forever and we have the same actors in them and they never age? How hard would that be to do as a movie?
Well, I mean, they did it in Civil War. They did it in Ant-Man.
Yeah, they've done it a lot to the point where you have to say, is there a plan here? To say, you know what? How can we have these actors forever?
Well, I mean, that's one way, but do you betray the story that you told?
No, we're not betraying the story. We're now telling another story. Is it a betrayal when these characters come back from the dead in the comics?
But comics are ever going. They're not made to end. The film series has an ending. Like, this is supposed to be the ending of the Infinity Saga.
The arc of the Infinity Saga, not the end of the Avengers.
Yeah. But not the Avengers. But I'm saying in a film, it works different than a comic. Because if you just keep bringing Tony, and it's like, eventually you're going to get to a point in a movie where you're like, there's no stakes anymore.
Right.
That's the question.
Like Dragon Ball, because nobody ever died, and they blew up tracts of land the size of New Jersey, and nobody ever got hurt.
Well,
the
New
question,
Jersey, no one cares.
What I'm saying is, it's not whether or not that does betray it, because here's the thing: we have never had the opportunity to betray it. We have never had the opportunity to say, you know what? What if Tony comes back? What if Robert Downey Jr. comes back, even if it's just as something else? Something not quite,
hologram.
What we have, yeah. Either Tony comes back as a hologram, or we just get cameos, or we start doing flashbacks and Tony's there.
Hey, we have music. In real life, we have musical performers come back as holograms. Would it be so hard to see that coming in the MCU?
No,
especially if Tony uploads his brain or something.
But at the same time, like I said, it just kind of it's the same way I felt about them bringing Coulson back on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean, I don't want to see a holographic Tony Stark in a whole movie, but I mean, you could have like a cameo somewhere.
I mean, you could do a cameo and just like, but I think if you're going to do that, you need to wait.
Or if you do a new Iron Man or Iron Person, like Lil said, Shuri, or if you get somebody else in that suit, Tony could be the AI in the suit.
Well, here's what I'll say. We're going to have at least 2 to 3 years before we get to the next Avengers film, because we're going to be building stuff out. So having Tony comes back in Avengers 5 Electric Book Alive with the Kang Saga, with the start of the Kang Saga. In fact, here's my prediction. You're going to actually get in somewhere in the next couple films the start of the Kang Saga. You're going to have stuff. Now that time travel battle has been unleashed, the questions of the of time travel and Kang are going to be an ongoing issue.
Well, something big is coming because they said they're not announcing what's coming next until after Far From Home comes out.
Right. Yeah, and that's what, and I think they've already filmed. You know, they already have movies filmed.
Oh yeah.
What do you think they have filmed?
Well, I thought a while back they said that they were doing a Black Panther sequel, of course. You know, there's going to be a Captain Marvel sequel coming. They've already said Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is happening.
What about this Black Widow movie? Are they just faking us out? Was that just
unless it's a prequel or something?
I think it would be a prequel. Once again, I don't want a prequel Black Widow.
No,
because you're going to ruin the character that I just experienced and I liked.
Yeah,
but I think one that's possibly very strong to drop and to have been filmed or in production right now is Doctor Strange 2.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's a couple years out, but I think they said that's coming too.
But see, I don't think it's a couple years out because they have to have something for next year. They have to because think about it. They were doing 2 to 3 movies every year.
Yeah.
And then when Far From Home's done, we just have to wait 2 to 3 years for something.
Yeah, something's coming, but they said they're not announcing it. Yeah.
I that's why my one thought is a Doctor Strange 2 has been either shot, it's in production right now, and that it's going to be revealed, maybe at Comic or C2E, not Comic-Con, they don't do that anymore. But they'll after Far From Home, they'll surprise us.
What if they're doing something with Fantastic Four or X-Men? What if they're waiting until after Dark Phoenix comes out to announce that?
Well, I know that what do you call it? Feige said it's going to be 5 years before they'll do anything with X-Men.
I don't think it's 5 years.
It was something like that.
It might be on a part of their deal though.
Oh, maybe
it might be.
Maybe
so I would be fine with Fantastic Four. That's a property that Marvel definitely needs to have, and they need the Marvel touch that has not got treated well. But I'm just saying, there's something is going to have to be released next year.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest one that people's kind of forgot about is Doctor Strange, and it would be easy to kind of shoot that under the radar.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden surprise us with Doctor Strange.
I'm just thinking it's fantastic. Maybe it's Fantastic Four because they said that they're not announcing anything until after Far From Home. You announce a MCU Fantastic Four is coming, the internet's going to explode.
Or it'll be something out of left field, like a Namor or something that we don't see coming.
Did they get the rights back for that? I thought Universal definitely was holding out for that after the whole Hulk fiasco.
I could not remember, to be honest, but
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I don't see them doing anything with Namor, though.
I do want to say one thing that kind of bummed me out with Endgame is I had hoped that maybe there would have been a shot, or how badass it would have been if when Doctor Strange showed up, we saw Luke Cage and Iron Fist walk out there with him.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Just something because he says I gathered all the heroes.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
And although with the Netflix deal ended now, though, because they can't use those characters for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So then maybe
which means they will be CGI inserted, or they were CGI deleted from here expressly because that. But it'll be on the. It won't be on the Blu-ray either.
Not the first one, but when we get the commemorative whatever version, they'll be in there. Yeah.
That's exciting.
But
no,
actually, speaking
Charlie,
of Namor, there was that earthquake in the Atlantic Ocean on the African plate.
Yes.
So that's just me. I gotta bounce. I gotta go put the kids to bed. It's getting late.
All right. Yeah, we'll be finishing up here soon. But
so good chatting, Maz. Good to see you.
Hey, good to talk to you, man.
Yeah,
we gotta talk more. Miss you guys. But I gotta go be super dad. So I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Right,
but no, Charlie, you were saying, we were saying about, he was saying about Luke Cage and everyone. What character? Do you see what character we did get in the 70s?
Yeah, we got Jarvis back,
Jarvis
baby.
From Agent Carter. Yeah,
he's the first one to go from TV to movies. So that is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, it speaks well for the Agent Carter property. Here's what we can say about Disney Plus. They are not starved for content, and they are definitely investing in content first. so that you don't get bored like I do with DC Plus. Because if you're not watching everything on a regular basis, there's nothing else to intrigue you. If you're only going for one show, you have a failed system. You need something that the next time you go back, like, ooh, what's this one? And you need at least 4 things because not everybody's going to want that. So I think we're going to get Agent Carter back or the Jarvis spinoff to show you what the Pennyworth spinoff could have been.
And didn't Disney just buy the rest of Hulu, so they own Hulu completely now?
They own like 70%.
The controlling interest, yeah.
As Danny Rand and Tony Stark would say, we have the controlling interest.
Didn't I hear that they completely, like a couple of days ago, there was a story that they bought the remaining 30% from whoever owns Hulu.
Oh, from NBC?
I don't know.
Possible. Yeah,
either way, they're in control. So,
I mean, NBC still has shows there. So,
of course, I mean, when you can't, when you don't want to do a deal with Netflix for whatever reason, you got Hulu.
Well, yeah, wasn't that the rumor now that like all their like TVMA stuff, like all those Daredevil and all those shows they had, they're gonna, they'll anything that's on anything above PG-13, they're gonna put on Hulu now.
Yeah. Which is ironic because to me, Hulu's already very PG-13. Everything that I watch, that's Hulu original.
Well, I've never watched The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, it's no Tubi, which is straight up, behind the beaded curtain at your local video store. But
yeah, like that film they show at bachelor parties, Escape from Stalag 69.
Hey, man, I am proud to be a part of that experience. And honestly, if you were a kid who liked to wander video stores, like I said, I cannot sell Tubi enough on that concept.
All right,
this podcast is not sponsored by Tubi, but if they want to give us money, we'll take it.
Yes, they can. Whereas Netflix is for your intellectuals who like to see movies.
Like BoJack Horseman.
Yes,
the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Or those Flat Earth documentaries.
Oh, they have a Flat Earth documentary on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they pulled that one off, but yeah, their documentary section is garbage now.
Yeah, it's gone. It fell off the face of the earth.
Although, actually, Tubi has a pretty good documentary series channel on their line, so watch out, Tubi. I mean, I know Maz won't go there because they have commercials, but
yeah, I hate commercials.
Preach, Maz! Finally, somebody gets me.
Oh, you too! I was so sad you guys didn't get to meet. I think you guys are going to be best friends.
I pay extra to have no commercials on Hulu, and I pay for YouTube to have no commercials on YouTube. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Same piece.
Oh yes, Maz's brain is not for rent to any god or government.
Nope.
He's a modern day Tom Sawyer.
Anyway, we're like at an hour and a half, so let's like skip to the end. Okay. What did everyone think? What did everyone think of Robert Downey Jr.'s sacrificial moment?
It was beautiful.
Good ending.
That's time he stopped being a captain of bad life decisions. That's all I'm saying. I thought it was a beautiful arc.
Yeah, it was. It was great. I love when Strange, like, honestly, when Strange holds up the one finger, I almost thought he was saying, just get one stone away and you can't snap. But when he takes all the stones, and you know what? I realized why he could do that.
Why?
Because that's a Stark gauntlet. That's Stark tech. He's compatible. So as soon as he touches it, his nanobots just take all that stuff right back from him.
It's proprietary tech.
Exactly, man. That's how they beat Kang.
Yes, when he was holding up, I figured, like, because earlier he told him, I can't tell you if this is the one scenario or not. And in that moment, he was telling him, yes, this is the one. So whatever you're going to do, this is the moment.
Oh, yeah. Between the moment when he said, I can't tell you or it won't happen, and then they exchanged that look, I was just like, oh, no. Tony's going out. No.
But let's step back for one moment and explain that they actually say, this is why Doctor Strange gave the stone away.
Because this is the end of the way they could win.
No, because this is the only way that he could convince the Ancient One to give the stone to the Hulk in the future.
I gotcha.
That the Hulk would never have been able to get the stone unless at this point Stephen Strange gives him the stone.
Right. You don't appreciate it at first, but then you're like, oh.
And it's like all these different ways that it all fell apart, but this is why it works. And it was like, oh, wow. This is what I loved about this thing is that every bad choice that complain about actually does get answered.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really appreciated that.
But like when Thanos is like, "I'm inevitable," and Tony was like, "I," and I thought at first I thought he was gonna say, "I'm invincible," but then it was more perfect when he says, "I am Iron Man."
Exactly.
It's more like, "I'm Iron Man, bitch."
Like if you thought you were
I
inevitable,
thought he was gonna have to snap twice. Thanos is a little thick. This is a little thick.
Your mom was so big, Thanos had to snap twice.
Wayne's World.
But yeah, I cried. I admit it. I cried.
I wish I had enough in my cold black soul to cry. I really do.
That's
I would
right.
have if I did.
If you had a human emotion, you would. I know.
or if it was like one of my favorite lines from Batman when Mr. Freeze goes, "I would cry if I had any tears left to shed."
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I cried a lot during this film. I cheered, I cried. And actually, I'll be honest with you. Actually, the second time I watched it, as soon as that 3D, put on your 3D glasses image came on from like, welcome to AMC, I was like, oh no!
This is it! This is not a drill!
I thought Charlie was going to cry because he's like, this science doesn't work at all.
No, actually, what I loved is that their science is pretty sound. Their science is pretty sound throughout. Like, they don't give a lot of detail, but they really, that they call out, like, you know, look, you can't go by what science fiction says for what time travel should be, because there are a lot of very big brains who think about this all the time, which is what I thought was fun about this, because, again, even though they all say it's ridiculous, none of them really want to walk away from it, because they say, well, you know, in theory, you could do it. But not the way you think, because you're an idiot. But we could possibly do this. So I really love, honestly, you know what just hit me? No more science bros.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Unless Reed
maybe
Richards
Banner and Pim can hang out.
And Reed Richards, if we get
or
him.
Shuri.
Yes! Or Shuri.
Mm-hmm.
Shuri is so dang millennially condescending, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my god. It's like, you know what, lady? Why don't you go fight a falling city and you tell me how much easier designing
You
Disney
leave
would
my
be for
favorite
you.
Disney princess alone. You leave it alone.
She's lovely. I'm not saying that.
Hey, why didn't you just copy and select all? That was a big contribution.
Exactly.
That's what made her smarter than Banner. I think they.
That was my one thing. You know who we were missing in this? I mean, we did get the Scarlet Witch. I was like, I'd forgotten about the Scarlet Witch. Oh, she's gonna kick Thanos' butt. But no, we didn't. I mean, they kind of mentioned him, but we didn't see Vision. Wouldn't the Vision be the easiest one to?
They're saving that for the TV show.
No, because Vision died before.
Yeah, yes, but he's an artificial being. Can't they rebuild him?
No, but
no one's had. They will, but not yet.
Yeah.
Everyone literally just got back, Phil.
That's true. Well, I mean, Stark and Banner were still there.
Yeah, but Shuri got snapped too.
I know.
And that essentially, you know what? And let me tell you something. They originally weren't snapping Shuri, but then someone realized, oh wait, if Shuri is still alive, she would have rebuilt Vision by now.
Yes.
Well, just snap her too, then. That's fine.
And two, they could have been like, Stark ain't gonna give us time travel. Let's go see Shuri.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, you know. At that point, they definitely would have. But of course, she had been snapped.
Yeah.
So I think originally they weren't going to snap her, and then they kind of, because really you don't need her to have been snapped there until the very end. But then someone realized, because they had originally said that she did survive the snap, but then they retracted that, and yeah. But it's because otherwise she would have rebuilt the Vision, and they hadn't shot any scenes with Jarvis for that. So
I have a question. Are they going to give Falcon the super soldier serum too? Because otherwise...
Well, they don't have the super soldier serum.
Right, so then what is he doing holding up that shield? Put it down.
Because he's Captain America.
How dare you?
You don't need the serum to be Captain America.
No. You can't be Captain America. Come on.
Yeah, okay, first off, he was Captain America in the comic books.
Yeah, I know, but he's just a guy.
So you can be is Batman just a guy?
Well, he has
a crazy guy, but
I mean, he has military training. It's not like he's high off the street.
As he said in
Winter Soldier. I do what he does, just a little slower.
On your left.
But also he can fly.
Semi-phenomenal powered cosmic whatever Captain America now?
Give the shield to Bucky. At least he has that robot arm to throw that
shield
around.
Yeah, but Bucky doesn't want the shield. And that's the thing. And Bucky never wanted the shield.
They're doing a TV series with Falcon and Bucky. So.
Yeah, it's going to be called Captain America and
Bucky. Yeah.
Cap and Buck.
That sounds like a fan fiction that I read.
Oh, it's gonna, honey, it's just going to be explicit.
You wrote it, Lil Hellfire.
Except PG-13. I don't know what PG-13 for gay romances is, but it'll be it.
Hold hands.
Hey.
And a big A. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, it's Will and Grace is a PG-13. So whatever Will could do.
I wonder he's not dead because they said Chris Evans is going to do a voice for that What If animated series. I wonder if we're going to get old man Steve Rogers in
yes, we are. They love the old man property.
At least the first episode.
Again, who do you think is going to be the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Ooh.
You're going to see old man Cap showing up like freaking old man Stan Lee.
Exactly.
Until they decide to do that very special episode where he gets de-aged, for one more time to have an adventure. Because unlike other times, he still has the super soldier serum.
Yeah, because
he's like age, but he can actually still kick your butt.
I know he was frozen after World War II, but doesn't the serum slow his aging somewhat?
It's supposed to, but they decided not to do that.
I was gonna say, that's not in continuity.
Tachyon, just break it down.
Yeah, because
or more specifically, we really don't know how many times he went back and married Peggy Carter.
As long as it wasn't
honeymoon night.
Lilith.
Or maybe he thought he could fix a lot more things and tried, and then just said, "No, I'm putting everything back to normal." And he spent, 500 years out there trying to fix it. And he's like, "All right, I'm done. Here, you take the shield."
Unless he took the serum out. Yeah.
And this came that eventually he can die of old age.
Yes.
Eventually, but yes, it usually takes like 500 years. So.
All right. So should we put a pin in it there?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many pins we need in things, but yeah, we can call it. I think we did a great thing. Oh, I can't wait for A's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
That I think is the biggest reveal of this whole.
Gunn's coming back, and Gunn's coming back to direct it, and he's gonna have Hemsworth too.
Crazy thought here. Did they actually stage the entire gun firing just so that they could delay Guardians of the Galaxy 3 till after this and not have any kind of leaks about Thor being in it?
They're diabolical if they did.
I think they might be. It was like, wait a minute. Is it going to happen? What's going on? But they already shot a bunch of it. And maybe this was just so that they didn't have to shoot any Hemsworth stuff. Like, how could we put this project on hold for like a year?
Disney is more organized than most world governments, okay?
Please.
They are the world government secretly. Come on, Philip, get your head out of your butt.
Well, I wish they would stop making it a secret. We could use a country run like Disney.
We're all buying Disney Plus. Give us Utopia. Come on.
Yes. Anyway, I just got my low battery warning. Okay, so let's
I hope he means on his computer.
No, on my phone. I'm on my phone.
Because I meant your device.
We're supposed to be doing homework, but it's actually goofing off now.
All right.
I thought you were coming out to us as a robot.
I do not hide my robotic American status. So.
Ample robotic.
I have got a lot of hyphens.
All right. So I don't know if this is, since this was Avengers Endgame, if this is the first time anyone's joined us. But yeah, we do this every week. We do this on a podcast. But send us your thoughts on Avengers Endgame. We'll keep reading them. capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/capesandlunatics, @capeslunatics on Twitter, Capes and Lunatics on Instagram. The voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Check out all our stuff at capesandlunatics.org. It's a work in progress. And if you love the specialized theme music this week, You can get your own from Mikey Flash at Mike Schmidt09 on Twitter, and you can always email him musicspeedforce@gmail.com.
The best.
That's right. The best in the business. All right. Mr. Moz Manzor, where can people talk to you?
Oh, they can email me at mozmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Moz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
Hooray!
So many double letters around here.
It's true.
And Lilith Hellfire with 2 H's in the middle. Where can people fight you on the internet?
If you nerds want to find me on the interwebs, you can tweet me over on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you're on the gram, at Lilith Hellfire 86. Because 69 was taken.
Fight me, nerd.
Isn't it always?
So
Anyway,
are there 3 people in an 86?
what?
Well, 69 is 2 people doing it upside down. I'm saying it's 86 involve a third person.
Let's hope so.
We'll have to look that up in the comment section once we get done off this podcast.
All right, Charlie Esser. Let's let rip.
If you'd like to write to me in an old-fashioned email way to where moms and poms once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, all at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitter. Says we live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting May 10th. Yay! As well as Cloak and Dagger, The Orville, and many other shows. At Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
Ping!
For quality.
I was going to hit the button. I was like, wait, Moz is right here.
Mine is right there.
I was wondering.
I was thinking about it. I was like seconds away, and I was like, wait, he's sitting right there. It's always better to get a live Moz than a pre-recorded.
Yes.
For quality.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this extra long episode of Capes and Lunatics. For another week, we have been the Capes.
Ampersand. What did you two say?
The Lunatics. I was going to let mine do the bell, but okay.
The three of us could do Capes and Lunatics, and he's saying a Moz.
Well, you gotta do that at the start of the show so he knows what to do, Philip.
Well,
You
some of
can't
us
just-
were here at the beginning.
We were waiting on you, pretty boy.
Okay, well, if you told him, then that's all on you, man.
Yeah, how would you know what we discussed in the beginning of the episode, Charlie Esser?
My bad. Okay, anyway, Ampersand.
Lunatic.
We're so good at this.
It's only been 102 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it right on 500. Don't worry about it.
Baby steps.
Don't make
When do we get the syndication deal?
We're already in syndication. It's